Assalamu alaikum. This is our lecture number 40 of managerial economics, and the topic today is risk analysis. Up till now, we have considered managerial decision making under the conditions of certainty, and most of the times we have seen that this process of decision making was taken under certainty. That is, especially in the short run. Especially in the short run, we have seen that the managers, they take their decisions, and these decisions, the possible outcome of these decisions is one for each decisions. Now, what is meant by uncertainty, risk, or certainty? These are the three terms on which we are going to focus in today's lecture. In case of long run investment, we will see that there are certain conditions, there are certain states of nature that are not under the control of the firm or the managers. And these includes the state of the economy, that is, what is the condition of the economy? It is booming, it is normal, or it is recessionary. And similarly, there are other conditions such as consumers' preferences, advancement in technology, and the competition in future. All these factors have a great effect on the outcomes of a project, an investment project that is to be undertaken by the managers. For this purpose, we need to see what is the formal definition of certainty, risk, and uncertainty. And this you can see on your screen here, that certainty is defined that we have a perfect information about future outcomes. As far as risk is concerned, risk, we know what future outcomes are possible, and we can attach probabilities to each outcome. So this is a situation where there is more than one possible outcome to a decision, and the probability of each outcome is known, or it can be estimated. What about the uncertainty? For this purpose, we can see that uncertainty is defined as situation where there is more than one possible outcome to a decision, and the probability of each outcome is unknown. We do not know the precise nature of the outcomes or their probabilities. So uncertainty refers to situations in which there is no viable method of assigning probabilities to future random events. This was the formal definition of certainty, uncertainty, and risk. As I said earlier, that sometimes uncertainty and risk, they are used as interchangeable terms. From the definition, we have seen that there is a difference between these two terms. As far as certainty is concerned, for each possible decision that the manager makes, there is a single outcome. There is only one outcome. So he is certain about the outcome of his investment decisions. For this purpose, we can take the example. For example, if an individual decides to invest in a National Defense Savings Certificate scheme, which is offered by the government of Pakistan, and there we know that the rate of return is 12.36% per annum these days. So if he decides to invest 100,000 rupees, and after 1 year he is certain to receive 1,800,000 rupees after the completion of 1 year. After the completion of 10 years, he will expect that he will get 327,630 rupees after the completion of 10 years, and he is certain about the outcome of his investment decision. Why is he certain? Because there is virtually no chance that the federal government or government of Pakistan will fail to redeem the certificate after the completion of 10 years, that is, on its maturity. And similarly, it will not default on interest payments. So this is an example of an investment venture or investment project, simple investment decision, which has a certain outcome. So therefore, in this case, the person who is investing in these certificates, he is sure or he is certain about the outcome. This is how we define certainty. As far as risk is concerned, we have seen in the definition that risk is defined that for each decisions there are more than one outcome. So, but these outcomes are known to the decision maker, and their probabilities can be assigned. Either the probabilities are known beforehand, or they can always be estimated. So this is what is meant by the risk. What about uncertainty? Uncertainty, in that case too, to each decision there are more than one outcomes, there are more than one possible outcomes, but their probabilities are not known and they cannot be estimated. Even if they are estimated, they are not meaningful, in the sense that those probabilities, they are either the reason could be that the past information is insufficient, or that the other reason could be that the structure of the variable is not correct. Therefore, in that case, in case of uncertainty, there is a number of possible outcomes, but those outcomes are not known and their probabilities are also not known. So this is how we define risk, which is sometimes used for uncertainty, and there is a difference between risk and certainty. So in order to measure risk, or the risk element which is involved in different investment decisions, especially in the context of managerial economics, because basically we have seen that managerial economics is related to managerial decision making. Well, for this purpose, we need to introduce some other terms, that is the strategy, state of nature, and payoff metrics. As far as payoff metrics is concerned, or payoff table is concerned, and the strategy is concerned, we have already discussed these, or we have already used these terms when we were discussing a game theoretic approach to oligopoly. In this context here, strategy has the same meaning that there are different course of actions to achieve the goal. To achieve the goal, the decision maker he has at his disposal different alternative possible courses of action. So he has to decide about which course of action is to be taken, and this is what is meant by strategy. So there are different strategies which are available, and the manager or the team management team has to decide about the course of action which is to be taken. The next term that we have mentioned here is the state of nature. State of nature are the different conditions in future about which the manager or the firm has only an imperfect knowledge, that is, there is no perfect knowledge, so they are not certain about it. This means that these conditions or state of nature, they have a great effect on the success or failure of the outcomes which are the decisions or strategies which the management is taking. तो इसके लिए जो स्टेट ऑफ नेचर में बहुत से फैक्टर्स आ जाएंगे जो मैंने पहले भी मेंशन किए हैं, like the condition of the economy, the condition of the competition in future, and similarly prices किस तरह होंगी, inflation किस तरह behave करेगा, और इसी तरह से consumers के preferences change हो सकते हैं, उनका taste change हो सकता है, और due to technology advancement there could be drastic changes, and all of these factors, these are not under the control of the firm. But जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि ये आपका जो भी मैनेजर ने जो भी डिसीजन लेना होगा about the investment projects, these factors will affect the decision of the manager, and these are called state of nature. So different state of nature हम इसमें consider कर सकते हैं, बहुत से factors इसमें include हैं. Payoff metrics, we have already seen and defined this term, and we have seen that this is a table. In this context of risk analysis, it is a table which shows the results or all the possible outcomes, that is the results or all the possible outcomes. For example, if the firm is considering a project for investment, then it will show all the possible outcomes, all the possible profits that can be made in the context of for each strategy or for each state of nature. Strategy firm की ये हो सकती है कि plant के मुतालिक जो है वो decide करना है, that is whether it is going to build a large plant or a small plant. And the state of nature, we could consider that the firm is considering the condition of the economy. That is, if it is assumed that the economy will be in boom or normal or recessionary in the future. In the context of risk analysis, we can give the classic case study example which you can find in your textbooks, and that is about the Coca-Cola company. In early 1980s, Coca-Cola companies, in order to enhance its sales, as compared to its rival company, that is Pepsi Cola. It decided to create a new recipe for the Coca-Cola and to replace a 99-year-old old recipe of Coca-Cola. So for this purpose, they spent $4 million to develop a new recipe for Coca-Cola, and then they conducted many surveys, and they have used these surveys for taste testing, and there were almost 190,000 consumers which were given, which were tested for the taste of the new product. And the result was they found that 61% of the consumers, they liked the new recipe, while 39% did not like it. This means that there was a ratio of 60 to 40%, and on the basis of this calculation, they decided to launch the new product. And this product, in order to introduce this, before introducing this product, they further spent $10 million on advertising. And finally, in May 1985, this new Coke hit the market. When this new Coke hit the market, the results were unexpected, because the reason was that the company failed to understand the loyalty that the consumers have to the original Coca-Cola taste. So isme unko, they were forced to sell the old Coca-Cola and also the new Coca-Cola simultaneously under the brand name. The old Coca-Cola was sold under the brand name of Classic Coca-Cola, और जो न्यू था वो उसको भी वो सेल कर रहे थे, एंड इन दिस वे दे वर एबल टू एनहांस देयर मार्केट शेयर. सो इस तरह से जो मैंने एग्जांपल जो दी है उसकी रीज़न ये है कि रिस्क जो है उसको कैलकुलेट करने के लिए कंपनी को they have to calculate this risk. Although it was a well-conceived idea, a well-conceived strategy, but still it was, the result was not according to the company's liking, या उनके जो भी थे इसमें जो उनकी कैलकुलेशंस थी वो इतनी ज़्यादा कामयाब ना हो सकी. और इसकी रीज़न ये थी कि रिस्क एलिमेंट जो है उसको कैलकुलेट किस तरह किया जाए. सो द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट वी आर गोइंग टू कंसिडर in today's lecture is how to calculate or how to measure risk. And for that purpose, we are going to consider a method which is called probability distribution. We are going to use probability distribution to measure risk element. Now, what is probability? Probability is the chance that an event will occur. For example, if we flip a coin, there are two possible outcomes, a head or a tail. The probability that a head will occur is 1 by 2, and the probability that a tail will occur is also 1 by 2. This probability theory was developed. It is based on the games of chance, and it was developed basically in late 16th century and early 17th century. और जो probability theory है उसको हम यहाँ पे जो है बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में यूज़ नहीं करेंगे. We are going to develop a probability distribution. So as I said, as I gave you the example of coin tossing, हम एक coin flip करते हैं. There are two possible outcomes. Assuming that we throw the coin for 10 times, and the result is that 9 times head appears and 1 time tail appears, provided we are also assuming that the coin is balanced coin. तो इसमें फिर हम probability कह सकते हैं कि 9 by 10 जो थी वो head के लिए थी और 1 by 10 was for the tail. But if we go on increasing, that is, if we throw the coin for an infinite number of times, you will see that ultimately the result will be the same. That is what we have said earlier. That is, the probability of occurrence of a head is 1 by 2, and the probability of occurrence of a tail is also 1 by 2. So this means we have increased the number of times that we have performed this experiment, और या जो इवेंट था उसको हमने परफॉर्म किया. There are two types of probabilities. That is priori, जो कि पहले से जिस तरह के हमने यहाँ पे देखा कि infinite number of times हमने उसको एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, तो उसकी बेस पे probability जो है हमारे पास जो आई है. या फिर जो है दूसरी probability, the other type of the probability is statistical. Business people normally they use this statistical probability, and it is based on the past experience or past data. For example, if an event occurs 1 out of 10 times, then a probability of 10% could be assigned to that outcome. So this is how we are going to assign different probabilities, and we will develop a probability distribution. Now, assuming that a firm is expecting a new order, पहले उसको order मिला है और उसके बाद वो जो है expect करी है कि ये order renew होगा, the probability is 70% on the past performance. It is based on the past performance of the firm, and 30% it is not sure that it will get the new order, that is the order will be renewed. So in this case we can say that this is a simple example of probability distribution. The probability that the firm will get the order is 70% and the probability that it will not get the order is 30%, and the sum of these probability is 100%. So because obviously one of the outcome will occur for sure, so that if we are expressing it in terms of percentage, it should be 100%, and if we are expressing हम इसको units में कह रहे हैं 0.7 or 0.3, that is the probability that the firm will get a new order is 0.7 and the probability that it will not get a new order is 0.3, then in that case the total of these two is 1. Now if a firm has to decide about an investment project and it has to see what will be the condition of the economy next year, and the conditions are, let's say, booming, economy will be booming, it will be normal or it will be recessionary in the future. So इसके लिए अगर वो probabilities जो हैं assign करते हैं, that is for boom the probability is that 25% there is a chance that the economy will be booming. In that case we can say 0.25%. 0.25 हम express करेंगे या 25% अगर हम percentage की form में कर रहे हैं. The percentage or the probability that the economy will be normal, that is 0.50, and the probability that the economy will be recessionary during the next year, that is 0.25. If we list all these outcomes and their respective probabilities, that is called a probability distribution. And using this probability distribution, that is if we multiply all the possible outcomes by their respective probabilities and then take the sum of this, we get the expected value. Or in our context, since we are considering an investment project, we can say that we have found the expected profit that the firm can expect from this project. तो इसके लिए जो formula हम use करते हैं, that you can see on your screen. This is given as, in general we can say that the terms or the symbols that we can use are expected value. Ex is equal to x bar, which is equal to sigma xi into pi, where I is from 1 to n. Since मैंने जैसे पहले कहा कि हम investment project की बात कर रहे हैं, therefore instead of using the general symbol x, we are using here pi for profit. So that our formula will look like the expected profit from a project that can also be represented by pi bar, and this is equal to sum of, that is sigma pi I pi, where I is from 1 to n, where pi I is the profit from outcome I, and pi is the probability that outcome I will occur, and the total number of possible outcomes are, that is here you can see that I is from 1 to n. So I is the total number of possible outcomes. इसके लिए अगर हम एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि फर्म जो है उसके सामने दो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं. इफ द फर्म इज फेसिंग दैट इट हैज टू डिसाइड and it has to compare the two projects, which are project A and project B. Firm calculates first of all it has to list all the possible outcomes and then calculate or estimate their respective probabilities, and after that the firm will multiply, it has to be multiplied, that is different, all possible outcomes are multiplied by their respective probabilities, and taking the sum of those products the firm will find the expected profit for project A and for project B. और इस तरह से फर्म जो है वो उनको कंपेयर करके डिसाइड करेगी किस प्रोजेक्ट को जो है उसको सिलेक्ट करना है, एंड दिस विल डिपेंड ऑन द, इसके लिए जो डिसीजन है वो दैट विल बेस्ड ऑन द रिस्क एलिमेंट. सो वी कैन सी हियर दैट इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड वी विल सी दैट हाउ दीज एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यूज आर कैलकुलेटेड, जिसमें हम दोनों प्रोजेक्ट्स का उसमें कंपेयर करेंगे. Well, in this table you can see that we have two projects, that is project A and project B. In the next column, state of the economy is given, that is the possible state of nature. It is boom, normal or recession, and then the probabilities to boom is assigned 0.25, normal 0.50 and recession 0.25. The possible outcomes, that is the possible profits that the firm can make when it selects project A. तो boom period में जो possible profit है that is $600. In normal conditions it is $500 and in recessionary period it is only $400. By multiplying all the possible outcomes by their respective probabilities, you can see in the last column we have calculated expected values for project A, and these are 150, 250, 100, and the total, when we take the sum of these products, we get the expected profit or expected value, which is also the mean of the probability distribution, and this is equal to $500. Similarly, you can see that for project B, we have the same state of economies, that is the boom period, normal period, recessionary period, and the probabilities are the same, that is 0.25, 0.50 and 0.25 respectively. और इसके बाद जो यहाँ पे outcomes हैं, the possible profits that could be made by selecting this project A, you can see that the values which are given here are $800 in period of boom, $500 in normal period, $200 in recessionary period. So when we multiply the outcomes, that is the possible outcomes, by their respective probabilities, in the last column we get the expected value, which is 200, 250, 50, and the sum of these products is the expected profit from project B. This sum of the products represents the expected profit from project B. So you can see here that incidentally in this case the expected profit from project A and project B is equal, that is $500. So how the firm is going to decide which project is to be selected in this case, since the expected profit is the same. In this case, however, you can see that if we look at the state of the economy column, against this the probabilities are given, and then the outcome, that is the possible profits in different periods or different state of the economy, are given. And you can see the spread or the dispersion for project A, the range of the values is from 400 to 600, whereas if we look at the range of the expected profits, we can see that it has a larger dispersion, that is from 200 to 800. 200 for the recessionary period and 800 for the booming period. So there is a large dispersion here. The dispersion or spread is large in the data, which shows that the risk is also large. Therefore, in this case, the manager will prefer project A to project B, because project A has lower risk and project B has a higher risk. And if he is a risk averse, he will select the first project, that is project A. Here we have presented that how the firm will decide, or the manager will decide to select a project depending on the probability distribution. Now we are going to graph this probability distribution, and we'll see that there are two types of probability distribution. One is discrete probability distribution and the other is continuous probability distribution. Graphically, so we are going to present both of these graphically. First the discrete probability distribution and then the continuous probability distribution, and we have to compare, as we can see that this probability distribution or the calculation of the expected value, it is essential for the evaluation of a project or for the comparison of the two or more projects. And we have to, this means that the firm has to calculate the expected value or the expected profit in this case, which it is expecting from project A and project B, since in this case we are considering only two projects. So this is essential in that sense कि यहाँ पे expected value जो है वो firm को calculate करना है, और इसके बाद ही वो decide कर सकेगी कि उसको ये project, अगर सिर्फ हम एक project consider कर रहे हैं, the firm, by looking at the expected profit, the firm can decide whether to undertake this project or not to undertake. If there are two or more projects, then the firm will compare the expected value or the expected profit of the projects and it will decide about it. But now, as I said, that we are going to explain, we are going to describe the same by using graphs here. And you can see the graph on your screen here. This graph is for the discrete probability distribution. As you can see that we have plotted here the graph for probability distribution of project A and project B separately, and here you can see the difference between the spread of the data, that is the range of the data, जिसमें कि variation जो है आप देख सकते हैं in project A the variation is lower, as compared to project B. As you can see that project A, the graph of the project A is tighter, and the graph of the project B is, the spread you can see graphically, visually आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे. Here each, the height of, यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं that we have plotted profits against x-axis and their respective probabilities against y-axis, that is vertical axis, and we can see that the height of each bar is presenting. In case of project A, it is a histogram because all the bars are adjacent, वो एक दूसरे के साथ मिली हुई हैं. But in case of project B, it is simply a bar chart. The bars are separated. So we can see that in case of project A, the data is more condensed and the data is tighter, which indicates what? It indicates that the spread of the data or dispersion, it is less dispersed. And as I said earlier, that the less dispersed project data or probability distribution shows a lower risk. In this case, as you can see graphically, हमने अभी जो बात वैसे आपको फिगर्स को देख के बताई थी, वही graphically जो है वो भी हमारा result वही है. But in this case, it is an example of discrete probability distribution, and you can see here the result that if we look at the two graphs, we can see that project A, in case of project A, the data is more tighter, and which indicates that it has a lower dispersion. So obviously हमारा result वही है कि यहाँ पे भी अगर जो manager है उसको इन दोनों projects को compare करना है and the person is a risk averse person, in that case he will select project A, which is attached with a lower risk. Now in this case we have defined only three state of the economy, that is boom, normal and recessionary. So इसमें अगर हम, if we now specify more and more states of economy, let's say deep depression, फिर इसके बाद depression, mild depression and so on. So we continue to add more and more, or we continue to specify more and more state of the economies. In that case, what will happen that the bars, that is the bars which are being represented here, they will become thinner and thinner, and ultimately they will approach a vertical line in the limit. And those vertical lines will be representing what? They will be representing the probabilities, their respective probabilities. और इसके बाद हम इसको देख सकते हैं, what will be the result? The result will be that we will get a continuous probability distribution, which you can see on your screen. Here we have used the same data, and we have now, as I said earlier, that we have increased the number of the outcomes. यहाँ पे the number जो है उसको हमने increase किया है, and as a result we have here drawn smooth curves. So इसमें आप देख सकते हैं project A and project B we have drawn on the same diagram. Again the profits are plotted against x-axis and their respective probabilities against vertical axis. So if you look at the graph, you can see that the graph of the project A is tighter and it shows less dispersion as compared to the graph of project B, which shows a greater dispersion or spread of the data. So again, our conclusion will be the same as far as the selection of the project is concerned. Here again, the manager will select project A because it has a lower risk attached to it as far as when we compare it to project B. So project A is preferable to project B. The reason is that it is attached with a lower risk. We have seen here that we have used probability distribution, जिसमें कि firm जो है वो decide कर सकती है कि उसको कौन सा project जो है, if there is a single project, then whether to undertake this project or not to undertake, and if it is two or more projects, then it can compare their expected values and decide about the which project is to be selected. But in this case, we have said that the expected profit was the same for the two projects, that is $500. Now let's next we will consider, we are going to use another measure, and that is the measure of dispersion. One of the important measure of the dispersion is standard deviation. So we'll be using here the absolute measure of dispersion and also the relative measure of dispersion. First, we will consider the absolute measure of dispersion. Absolute measure of dispersion, we are going to calculate the standard deviation. For this purpose, we need to take 3 steps. First one is that we have to subtract the mean, that is x bar, from all the possible outcomes, and so that we have a set of deviations which is presented by di, and this is equal to xi minus x bar. The next step is that we square these deviations. We square these deviations and multiply them by their respective probabilities, and so that and then we take the sum of these products. When we take the sum of these products, we get the variance of the probability distribution, which is presented by sigma square. And the third step is that we take the square root of this variance, that is sigma square, to get the standard deviation, which is denoted by sigma. These steps you can see on screen, and here we have written the formula. So in order to measure, or in order to use the absolute measure of risk, the standard deviation is used, and you can see the formula of standard deviation on your screen, which is given as sigma equal to square root of sigma x minus x bar whole square multiplied by pi, that is the respective probabilities of this possible outcomes, and then we have multiplied these values in, that is the square deviation, by their respective probabilities, and then we have taken the sum of these products, and the sum of these products presents what it gives you, the variance of the probability distribution, and then by taking the square root of that we get the standard deviation. Now we will show how this standard deviation is computed, जैसे कि हमने अभी आपको steps में बताया. And now considering once again our previous example in which we have considered project A and project B, and their different outcomes were there, their probabilities were there, and simply here we are going to subtract. In this case, in order to calculate the standard deviation, we subtract from different possible profits. We will subtract x bar, which is the mean, and that is the expected value, that is equal to 500. Once we calculate these deviations, we will square these deviations and then we multiply them by their respective probabilities. Now we have said that the lower the deviation, as we have seen graphically, visually, जैसे कि हमने देखा कि अगर data में spread जो है वो कम है, and this is what we have shown also in case of discrete probability distribution and also the continuous probability distribution, and we have seen that the smaller, the lower the dispersion, the lower the dispersion, the smaller is the risk which is involved here. क्योंकि क्या है कि जो probability है हमारे पास यहाँ पे जब हम ये deviations calculate करते हैं, this will show that there is a smaller probability that the actual value will significantly differ from the expected value. So that this is what we have to see while using this absolute dispersion. If we use our data now, then we can see that we can calculate the standard deviation for project A and for project B, and this is what you can see on your screen. Now first we take project A. Here we have, you can see on your screen that we have taken the deviations, that is 600 minus 500, then 500 minus 500, the next outcome, possible outcome was 400, and then we have subtracted x bar from it, that is our expected value, which was 500 in this case. We have squared those deviations and then we have multiplied them by their respective probabilities, that is 0.25, 0.50 and 0.25. Simplifying this, we get square root of 5000. So in this case, the sigma square or variance of the probability distribution is equal to 5000, and when we take the square root of this, we get standard deviation, which is equal to, for project A, this is equal to 70.71. Now let's have a look at the standard deviation that we have calculated for project B. Again, we will take the same 3 steps and we get the variance. The variance in this case is equal to 45,000, and when we take the square root of this, we get the standard deviation for project B, which is equal to 212.13. So the result is the same that we have previously just found by inspection of the data. Then we have used graphs for that purpose, both the discrete probability distribution and the continuous probability distribution, and now we are considering the same projects, and we have here calculated the standard deviation for the 2 projects, and we can see that when we compare the standard deviation of these 2 projects, here again we can see that the smaller the standard deviation, that means the lower the risk. The larger the standard deviation, the higher will be the risk. So यहाँ पे आप compare कर सकते हैं. For project A, the standard deviation is 70.71, whereas for project B, it is much greater, that is 212.13. So again, in this case, the result is the same, that is the conclusion is the same, that the manager will pick from these two projects, project A. Now we have used absolute measure, that is absolute measure of dispersion. Next, as I said, we are going to consider the relative dispersion, and that is called coefficient of variation. In order to calculate the coefficient of variation, the formula that is used is this coefficient of variation, which is denoted by CV, or simply V. It is equal to sigma divided by x bar, that is sigma is standard deviation and x bar is the mean or the expected value. In our example, we have seen that the expected value for the two projects was the same, that is 500. So in that case, obviously, it is not necessary to calculate the coefficient of variation, because in that case, it will be sufficient to measure, to find the absolute measure of dispersion, that is simply to find the standard deviation. And we have already found the standard deviation for project A and for project B, and we have seen that the standard deviation or the absolute dispersion for project A is much less than that of the project B. Lekin agar in case this expected value is different for the two projects, in that case the absolute measure of dispersion is not a good measure. In that case, because the firm has to compare the expected value. अब अगर हमारे जो example थी उसमें incidentally expected value जो है, expected profit was the same for the two projects, that is $500. But assuming that the expected profit is different, that is instead of $500, let's say अगर हम यहाँ पे ये assume करें, जैसे कि आप screen पे देख सकते हैं, हमने calculate जो किया है इसमें VA and VB, that is the coefficient of variation for project A and coefficient of variation for project B, which are equal to 70.71, क्योंकि जैसे आपको याद होगा कि जो हमारी standard deviation की value थी for project A, it was equal to 70.71, whereas the expected value or the pi bar was equal to $500. और इस तरह से जो variation हमने coefficient of variation that we have calculated, as you can see on your screen, VB is equal to 212.13 divided by 500. So that the result is that coefficient of variation for project A is 0.14 and coefficient of variation for project B is 0.42. In this case, since we are expressing standard deviation in terms of expected value, so that it becomes dimension free, that is, it is a pure number which can be used to compare the relative dispersion of the two probability distributions. But as I said earlier, that in our example, the expected value is the same, that is expected profit is the same. So here it was not necessary to calculate the coefficient of variation, because already we have the same, we can see that the expected profit is the same. So all the firm has to compare is the standard deviation, that is the absolute measure of dispersion. But assuming that it is not the same, that is the expected profit or expected value is different, in that case coefficient of variation is the better measure of dispersion, और इसके लिए फिर हमें coefficient of variation जो है calculate करना चाहिए. अब हम अगर यहाँ पे assume करें कि even if we multiply the standard deviation by of project A by 100 and also its expected value by 100, so that we get 707.1 divided by 5,000. Even in that case, you will see that the coefficient of variation will be the same, that is 0.14. What's the reason? The reason is that, as I said earlier, here we are expressing standard deviation in terms of the expected value, that is the mean. और इसमें फिर जब हमने इस तरह से इसको expect and we have said that this become a dimension free number, that is we can see here that जब हमने use की हैं values 70.71 divided by 500, and then we have used different values, that is 707.1 divided by 5,000, we get the same result. So in that case, when the expected value of the two projects are different, this measure of dispersion, which is relative measure of dispersion, that is preferable to the absolute measure of dispersion. तो यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं कि coefficient of variation for project A is 0.14 and coefficient of variation for project B is 0.42, which is larger, and a larger risk is involved for project B. Next, we have to use another measure, and in this case we are going to use the standard normal distribution. As you can see on your screen that it is a bell-shaped curve and it is symmetric about its zero mean, and it has a standard deviation of 1, and total area under the curve is equal to 1. That is, the total probability is equal to 1. So this means, since we are saying that its mean is equal to 0, then 0.5 of the area lies towards the right of the mean, and 0.5 area of the under the curve lies towards the left of the mean, because it is symmetric about its mean, since we are assuming that its mean is equal to 0. For this purpose, we need to calculate a standardized variable which is denoted by the symbol z, and as I said earlier, that this standardized variable z is symmetric about its mean, which is equal to 0, and its standard deviation is equal to 1. And z can be calculated if we are given different distributions like a revenue distribution or a cost distribution or a pie, that is profit distribution. We can always transform them into a standardized probability distribution. The formula that we have to use is that is z, or the standardized variable, is equal to xi minus mu divided by sigma, where mu and sigma are the mean and standard deviation respectively, and x is the variable or point of interest. So as I said earlier, that any distribution which is given, that is a revenue distribution or a cost distribution or a profit distribution, that can be standardized by using this formula. Now on your screen you can see, as I said earlier, that this normal curve is a bell-shaped curve and it is symmetric about its mean, which is equal to 0, and standard deviation is equal to 1. So the total area under the curve is equal to 1, or the total probability is equal to 1. And here we can see that 68%, that is approximately 68% of the outcomes, they lies within plus or minus 1 sigma. Similarly, you can see that the actual outcomes lie within plus or minus 2 sigma, and there that is equal to 95% approximately, and 99% the actual outcomes lie within plus or minus 3 sigma. So this is what we have to see, that taking again the previous example, we will see that what is the probability that the firm will earn a profit between $500 and $600, or between $400 and $500. This is what we are going to see by using this standard normal distribution. We are assuming that first we consider for project A, we are assuming that this probability distribution is normally distributed. That is, approximately it is normally distributed, and then we have to consider that if the firm expects that what will be the, if the firm wants to calculate what will be the expected profit, that the profit will fall between the two values, $500 and $600, and we already know that the expected value, that is the mean, was, in that case our probability distribution was equal to 500. So using this formula for standardized variables, that is z is equal to x minus mu divided by standard deviation, for project A, we can calculate that since we are taking the value 600, x is equal to 600 minus x bar, or mu, is equal to 500 in this case. Remember, we have calculated our expected value or mean was equal to 500 for our probability distribution for project A, and this is to be divided by sigma, which is equal to 70.71 in this case. जब हम इसको calculate करते हैं, we get the value which is equal to 1.42. That is, here the standardized variable z is equal to 1.42. As a result of using this formula, we get z is equal to 1.42. Now we look up this value of z equal to 1.42 in our statistical table for normal distribution, and we find here, as you can see on your screen, the value of z is equal to 0.4222, or in percentage we can say that this is equal to 42.22%. This means that the firm can expect that the profit from project A will fall between $500 and $600. The probability is that it is equal to approximately 42%. तो इसी तरह से हम different जो हैं probabilities calculate कर सकते हैं by using this area under the normal curve this concept of area under the normal curve. For instance, if we are going to consider that what will be the probability that the profit is below 600. Now look at your screen, we can see that we have already calculated Z, that is the standardized variable, when the firm is expecting that the profit will be between 600 and 500. And we have calculated that the probability is equal to 0.4222 or 42.22%. The expectation or the probability of the profit that this will be greater than 600, this is equal to the sum of below 500 plus between 600 and 500. As far as the profit between 600 and 500 is concerned, we have already calculated it. That is from mean equal to 0 to 1.42 standard deviation, and we have found by making use of the statistical table, we have found that this corresponds to the value or the probability under the normal curve, which is 0.4222 for the standardized variable Z when it is equal to 1.42. तो वो हम पहले से calculate कर चुके हैं, but since we have said that this curve, normal curve, the standard normal curve, it is symmetric about its mean, which is equal to 0. So 0.5 area lies towards the left of mean. तो इसलिए इसको हम ऐड करेंगे यहाँ पे 0.5 plus the area that we have calculated for 600 minus 500, which was equal to 0.422. So 0.5 plus 0.4222, we get what? 0.93 times 2 or 0.9222, or approximately in percentage form we can say that we can expect that there is a probability that 92%, there is a probability of 92% that the profit for project A is below 600, that is less than 600. क्योंकि हमने कैलकुलेट किया है 500 और 600 के बीच में, हम पहले कैलकुलेट कर चुके हैं और वो आप देख सकते हैं स्क्रीन पे, लेकिन इसके बाद हम कह रहे हैं कि बिलो 600, तो वो 0.5 जो टुवर्ड्स जो एरिया था जो that falls towards the left of our mean. That is, in case of standardized variable, the mean is 0, but in our case, in our problem or in our example, we have seen that the expected value or mean was equal to 500. So इन दोनों को हम add करेंगे, we will get the total area, which is equal to 0.92 or 92, approximately 92% is the probability that the profit will be less than $600. Now, if we have to calculate the profit for project A, which is below $600, so obviously we have said that the total probability under the normal curve is equal to 1, and we simply subtract this area that we have already calculated for the profit which was below $600. So it is simply 1 minus 0.9222, and in percentage form the result will be 0.0778 or 7.78%. So we can see that using this concept of standard normal curve, we have seen that we can calculate different probabilities for different outcomes. और इसके लिए आज के लेक्चर में जैसे अगर हम इसको सारा वाइंड अप करें तो हम देख सकते हैं that we have defined certainty, risk and uncertainty, and then we have seen how to calculate, how to measure risk, and for this purpose we have developed the idea of probability distribution, and then we have used two types of probability distribution, that is discrete probability distribution and continuous probability distribution. And then we have considered two types of measures for the dispersion, that is absolute measure of dispersion and relative measure of dispersion. For absolute measure of dispersion, we have simply calculated the standard deviation for the probability distribution, and for the relative measure of dispersion, we have calculated the coefficient of variation. And as far as the after that, we have considered the concept of standard normal distribution, and we have seen here that how we can calculate different probabilities for all the possible outcomes. With that, we come to an end of this session, and next time we'll continue with this topic. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.